Hello everyone.
Hello.
Today we're going to go over 8 board games that we consider hidden gems in our collection. These are board games that sit outside the top 1000 on BoardGameGeek and have under 5,200 ratings.
So the first game we have is When I Dream. So it's a social deduction word association game. I think it's probably the most well-known out of all the games we're going to present today. There will be a player that is the dreamer that will try to guess words. All the people around the table will have different roles and they will try to give good or bad clues depending on their role. Fruit, strawberry, red.
Raspberry.
Personally, I've always been a huge fan of Password, the game. That's why I also like Just One. And this game is mixing password and social deduction, which is quite fun. It's very chaotic. You don't need to know how to lie to play the game, because anyway, the dreamer is always blindfolded. So you can just say like, I don't know, carrot to make someone guess fireworks if you're the bad guy. It doesn't matter. But yeah, it's very fun and I like it. The cards are beautiful. They're very, very nice. They're very trippy as well because they're mixing 2 words.
It's a simple party game that can play up to 10 people, so it's often a good choice towards the end of a night when our group just wants to wind down. The next game on our list is Micropolis. This game is a bit of a mix between tile drafting and set collection. You each have an ant colony. Every round you draft a tile, place it in your colony, and collect the points from what's on the tile. Your ant colony is a decagon, and after 10 rounds you'll fill it completely. You score points for things like collecting fruits or ants on your tiles.
There's many different ways to score. I really like the way you draft tiles, because the problem I think with Cartzzle is like you just pick a tile and then you're stuck with it. Here, just like, I don't know, Canvas or Small World, you spend your little ants on the tiles and like it's a decision. Do you want to give the next player maybe a tile with an ant or not? It's up to you. So it's really good and I like it too.
I think the best thing about this game is it plays up to 6 players. Often when you have 5 or 6 players, it's a very awkward number. People want to divide into 2 groups, or there's only really party games to choose from. This is a great little strategic game you can pull out when you have an awkward number of people.
So the next game is Peanut Club. So if you don't already know it, I love auction games, like I really, really do. So this game is quite like unknown, I think. It doesn't exist in English, so I had to ask my parents to buy it in France and bring it here. So it's a very unique game in the way there's like a stock market and there's 3 different currencies. And sometimes they go up or they go down and you're just bidding with like the money you have in your hand, which can be either peanuts, camels or $1 million. So it's a very, very silly game. All the auction lots are very silly too. They're funny. I think it's a very fun game and I like it a lot.
The interesting part about the game is it's the players who control which currencies are valuable or not. Everyone has their own powers, so if someone's bid 5 camels, you can now say, oh, camels are worthless. The art on the card works is unique and quite funny.
Yes.
The 4th game is Planet. What's unique about this game, and the biggest selling point, is it's very tactile. Everyone has their own little planet that they are filling with biomes. Very fun to throw your planet around while you're playing, great for kids. You can make giant areas of one colour, or you can make lots of little separate regions of other colours. It depends on the cards that you're trying to collect along the way. And it also makes a really fun clicking sound when you place the biomes onto your planet.
The next game is Shamans by Cédric Chaboussi. So it's a trick-taking game, but think The Crew, but you win on your own. So it's not cooperative at all. There are like different roles, so it is a bit social deduction, but your role changes every round, and whoever reaches 8 points first wins the game. So it's a very nice twist on the usual trick-taking games you can play. And sometimes, depending on your role, you know who's on your team, but if they win, I mean, if your team win, then this person is gonna win. So you might even want to sabotage your own like role, like your own team, just so this person doesn't win this turn, and you hope that you can win next turn or something like that. So it's like tricky decisions. It's fun. The cards are also beautiful. Depending on the number from the same color you have, they'll be more detailed, and that's a very nice little point you can say. And yes, that's why I like it.
Game number 6 is Lueur, or Glow in English. You might be noticing a bit of a French theme here. We have the French version because we won it in a tournament, so that's very cool. I think the number one selling point of this game is how beautiful it is. But that's not to understate the gameplay at all. The game is also very enjoyable. It's basically an engine builder with dice. You have 8 days to build a traveling party. You walk along the map. You collect dice as you go. You roll the dice for points. You collect little firefly tokens. It's unique and enjoyable, and I'm very surprised that it's not more popular than it currently is.
Next game is Cartzzle. So you probably never have heard of this. It's a puzzle made out of cards, but there's like missions like an actual game in these. You buy a box, and normally you have like 2 games in one puzzle. Like for example, for Le Baiser, The Kiss by Gustav Klimt, I have a puzzle based on sea serpents, and I have a puzzle based on The Kiss. And in the box you have missions, and like cover these symbols to win the mission or stuff like that. So it's very, very unique. I don't understand why it's not more popular. You can buy a little box for nearly nothing. So basically, instead of actually having like puzzle pieces, like jigsaw puzzle pieces, you have cards. So the whole card is colored, and you're trying to like match patterns together and like cover stuff like that. For example, one of the missions is to cover all the red dots and the blue fish. So here there's a blue fish. I don't want this to be a scene at the end of the game, so I'll have to cover it with this card. But sometimes it's tricky because there's other cards that will add the blue fish on top. Like for example this card. So you have to be careful. You should like always put these cards aside and then start from these and then end up with the covering ones. So yeah, as Sam said, you should play, I suppose, by yourself, but you can also play with other people. Like I'm pretty sure you've played jigsaw puzzles with other people sometimes. If you leave the jigsaw puzzle on the table and you're like, okay, do you mind helping me? I'm kind of stuck here. It kind of feels like that if you really wanted to.
We weren't doing this in any order, but I think we both agree that Dream Runners is the most underrated game we own. It's been out for a couple of years now. It's only got 150 ratings on BoardGameGeek, and 2 of those are ours. It's just one of those games that our group actively enjoys playing. They suggest it without us having to suggest it. Everyone has their own unique set of tiles that form a 3x3 grid if placed correctly, and every round everyone has to finish the same puzzle. There's a speed element as well. The first person to finish starts a timer, which hurries the other players up, as well as gets a bonus coin. You can collect coins to buy more tiles, and you want to cover up monsters so you don't lose the game from becoming too unhappy.
I really like it. I think it's a nice balance between risk and reward. Do you want to pick up the nice juicy loot, or do you want to banish the nightmares to not wake up? So that's why buying tiles makes your hand stronger for the following turns.
The game doesn't drag either. It's 8 rounds and then it's finished. It goes by pretty quickly. Those are 8 hidden gems we own. Thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you. Bye.